everyone, it's Celeste and welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about cosplay. I teach you tutorials on how to make the outfit, how to make the makeup, so you can become the character of your dreams. You can already tell that I'm in my cosplay for today. My cosplay today is Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph 2 hit theaters not too long ago. I'm not sure if it's still out by the time you watch this video. My friends had invited me to go with them to see the movie and cosplay. One little girl actually saw all of us and she was like really excited and they were really happy. My friends were dressed up as Cinderella, Belle, Merida, Anna, and Elsa. It was pretty cool. I think we all had a really good time and it was a lot of fun. I decided to be Vanellope because I thought I was going to be the shortest person there. I think I was. So anyways, I definitely had a lot of fun making this outfit. I did not have the time to go get fabric. Today's video is more of an inspirational cosplay tutorial. You can follow along and get some ideas from this because I made this entire outfit out of t-shirts. That is correct. T-shirts. Literally t-shirts. This entire hoodie is made out of t-shirts and then my leggings are made out of t-shirts as well. This video is more of an inspirational tutorial to show you that you can cosplay with anything, so be creative. I say it at the end of my videos all the time, stay inspired and be creative. So I hope you guys find some inspiration through this video because of me using t-shirts and the way I made this cosplay. I did not use t-shirts for my skirt. My skirt is stretched taffeta. In a future video, I will be showing you how to make a pleated skirt. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. I would love it if you did. Yes! And like I said, this isn't so much a tutorial, but like an inspirational thing and showing you tips and tricks of how to use a t-shirt for making something else. Alright guys, I hope you like this video and let's get it started. To begin this project, I'm using white t-shirts. I found these in my apartment complex's recycling room and they just happen to be the perfect thing for this cosplay. I'm going to be laying out the t-shirts and cutting out the two bottom pieces. So I'm going to cut underneath the armpits straight across. I'm going to do this to two t-shirts. Now that I've cut out two of the t-shirts and we have these two tubes, cut down the side of the tube. This will create a long strip of fabric. We're going to fold this fabric in half and then sew it so that it goes down the leg. These are going to be the base of the stockings. I first sewed the sides together and then I pinched and pinned and then I sewed a second seam down the way. That way it fit my legs better. Here, I'll show you what I mean and I'll explain it better. Who's ready for a weird camera angle? Well, this is what my stockings look like right now, or my thigh highs. And this is the one that I just sewn straight from the sewing machine. It doesn't fit, and it is definitely longer than I anticipated. But as you can see, it is super loose. This one over here, I went ahead and started sewing down the side and going and tapered the edge until it gets down to my foot. And then we are going to cut this off, so make sure you kind of pinch and then kind of guesstimate where it is. Since it's t-shirt fabric, it's pretty easy to work with and it's very forgiving. So let's go ahead and do this to the other side and then we are going to cut it out. And through the process of editing, this is kind of what it looks like, all sped up and with the side parts cut off. So to keep my thigh highs from falling down, I'm going to be using nude tights as my base, and I'm going to be sewing the thigh highs to the nude tights, that way they don't fall down. Here's a quick example of what they look like right now without being dyed and the extra part. Just wanted to tease. I'm using the top part of the shirt that I cut off earlier to make the pocket for the front of the shirt. I'm also going to flip this shirt inside out right now so I can start removing the sleeves. We're going to make long sleeves out of the other shirts. I was going to seam rip it off, but t-shirt fabric is very forgiving, so I decided to cut the sleeves off right at the base of the seam. Do this for both sleeves. So I took out that shirt again, and now I'm going to be drawing a trapezoid shape on it. Because I want it symmetrical, I'm going to fold it in half and then mark on it. I'm actually using a crayon here so you can see it better on camera, and I'm slowly making the shape that I need, like a normal hoodie pocket. I pinned it together to cut it out because I don't want the fabric shifting around. I went ahead and hemmed the side of the pocket, so before I sew it down to the shirt, it won't have a problem. And then I'm going to be pinning it to the shirt and then sewing it down. You want to place your pocket pouch above the hemline a few inches. I did about 5 inches for mine. Once you're happy with your placement, begin sewing through one layer of the t-shirt with the pocket. Make sure not to sew the t-shirt closed while you're sewing the pocket. Here, I'm using those sleeves that I cut off and I opened them up by cutting down the seam on the side. From here, I'm actually using this sleeve piece as the pattern for the long sleeve. So go ahead and extend the bottom part into a longer rectangle to make longer sleeves for your shirt. I also did this using a crayon and then of course cut this out. After you got it all cut out, join the side seam together to make your sleeve whole. Make sure to do this for both left and right arms. I didn't have large enough scraps to create the hood, so instead I'm going to be using another t-shirt from that scrap pile. I'm going to be copying a hood pattern from an actual hood. I'm doing this at the edge because this way everything will be uniform and I have an easier time adding the little hoodie strings, and that way it'll be super easy for everyone. Notice that I still have the fold at the bottom from the t-shirt. All you have to do is cut your hood out first, and then once you have it cut out that bottom fold. That way it's a completely two separate pieces instead of one giant piece. Ta-da! Two separate pieces for the hood, and now we just had to sew it together. I don't know why I separated it. Okay, anyways, now time to sew it together. Sewing! Now after I had combined the hood together, I went ahead and just folded over that hemline to create a new hemline and a casing for the drawstrings for the hoodie. It's really easy to do. All you had to do is fold over the pre-existing hem and then sew it down. That way there's an extra casing and it's easy for you to slip in the red strings. Now go ahead and start pinning your hood to your shirt. I kept the neckline band because I really like the added look that it will give and give some extra detail. Once you're happy with how many pins you have stuck into your shirt, keeping your hood in place, begin sewing it down. Now we just need to create that red tie. The red tie, I'm going to be using the scrap fabrics from my leggings, and then I'm going to be painting it with this fabric paint, which is red. Obviously, I could just get red fabric, but this is a totally recycled costume. Alright, so just paint a lot of red on this scrap, really long piece of fabric. When you're done painting a lot of the fabric piece, let it dry before you go with your scissors to make that long piece of string. So let that bad boy dry. Once it's dry, cut out a nice long strip. Once you have your strip cut out, make sure to give it a nice tug on it so it becomes a smaller, thinner strand, and make a knot on one side. Once you have the time, you're going to be threading this through the hood after it's dyed. So let's get to that process. Alright everyone, so I'm at a part where I need to dye my fabric because it's all white. And because of that, I'm inexperienced with dyeing fabric, so this is going to be a big trial and error. I already have my water. Okay, that's a little hot. We have water here set up, and then I have gloves. I took this from my local store in the self-candy serve section. So they usually throw it away. I'm going to be using it for myself, unlike when I was dyeing my hair. I'm going to be using some of the scrap pieces so I get the right color and that I saturate it. Now they say to do it for an hour and let it sit, I believe. It says 15 minutes, okay. Well, 15 minutes and then I can double check and see where I need to go with this. So I'm going to be pouring in the entire bag of green because I need to dye the entire hoodie, and then I'll be adding a little bit of this royal blue as well. So let's get testing! I'm scared. Help me! Send help! Don't worry your pretty little head, past Celeste. Future Celeste is here to help. So, one of the big reasons why you want to test your fabric dyes before you actually use your finished garment is because you want to see that you'll get the color that you want. Sometimes the dyes are going to be not the right color off the bat because of the blend in the fabric. Because my material is t-shirt fabric, it's very easy to dye, and this is a learning process for myself, and hopefully you all will learn as well. So I'm using Tulip fabric dye. These come in little pouches and can be found at local craft stores. I am actually using 2 different colors so I can get a teal color. I'm very lucky that I have a lot of t-shirt material to play with, and that way I can test the color and make sure it's correct. Make sure you have scrap fabric for any dyeing needs. So I wanted to show you what the process looked like after it was done. It's not completely dry, but I did rinse it and air dried it a little bit, and then I couldn't wait any longer. I didn't want to keep this like entire thing of water sitting here and dye just sitting there, and I already got everything else that I needed done. So this is the color. It's a little bit splotchy, so I need to stir the stuff a little bit more. I think I got a little bit of the blue dye on the sides when I was stirring it, so I'm going to have to go back and literally like be careful with when I'm dyeing the actual hoodie. So adding the blue was a good call so it's not so green. But actually I'm really loving this color. I think it's the color that I was looking for. I hope you guys wish me luck. So here is the shirt, and I'm going to be dyeing it now. And before I forget to tell everyone, make sure to put your tights or stockings into the dye as well. So my hoodie is now dry. I did follow the instructions, but I messed up in a few areas, but that's okay. It's now teal and blue splotty. So now we're going to take a little bit extra of that red fabric that we painted earlier, and we're going to be cutting it into small bits and sewing it on with red thread, following Vanellope's actual costume. There are 2 strands on the left side of the hoodie pocket, so cut 2 pieces of red and angle them slightly away from each other, kind of parallel, but not exactly. And then on the other side, you're going to be making an X with 2 extra pieces and then sewing it across each other. Now take out that extremely long red strand that we made earlier when we tugged on it, and we are now going to be threading this into the hood. I forgot to make a knot on one of the sides, just like I said earlier, but it's okay. Now go ahead and do it here. I'm doing like a fishing hook knot, so yeah, it's going to be so much stronger. Takes up a little bit more fabric. Cut a small hole for the drawstring for your hoodie. Make sure to do this for both sides. Now using your safety pin, go ahead and start feeding your drawstring through your hoodie. Make sure it can go long enough. My hoodie string was a tad bit short, so I had to attach extra scraps to it. It didn't make too much of a difference, but make sure you go and have a really long strand of string first, and then go ahead and feed it through. Before you can say you're officially done with this hoodie, make sure to create another fishing knot or regular knot, up to you, but make another knot on the other side of the string, pull it tight, and make sure your hoodie strings are even, and you are finished with Vanellope's hoodie. Now it's time to finish the stockings. Obviously, my stockings were in the dye bath, but they do not have the purple and white stripes. So I will be using a white satin ribbon and some purple satin ribbon for the stripes on my tights. To attach it, I actually am using fabric glue, and I'm going to be brushing it on with the paintbrush onto the ribbon. Then I'll slowly place it in position on the tights. On the right foot, you should be having a really long white strip of ribbon and then spiraling it upwards on your leg. Make sure not to make it too tight on your calves and your ankle, that way you can take it off and pull it on. Once you get to the top, make sure it's super secure and go back on any areas and add extra glue if you need to. Now for the left leg, instead I'm going to be pasting small strips around my leg in different areas, and then I'm going to be pasting purple ribbon strips right next to the white ribbon strips. Make sure to have 3 white stripes and then 3 purple stripes. Then attach it to your nude tight. I always try now to give you guys an extra little tip, and Vanellope has a hair tie that's really cute and it's made out of licorice. Do I have giant licorice that goes in my hair? No! So today we are going to be using red foam and more wire, the same wire that I use for a lot of my other projects. So cut a piece of foam paper in half, and then go ahead and cut it in half again. You want about 3 strips of thick foam paper. I don't know if foam paper is the correct term, but that's what I'm just calling it. These should be about 4 inches wide. Fire up the glue gun and then start gluing the pieces together to make one giant long strip. Now get out a lot of wire, and I mean you should have double the amount of length that you have on the foam, and then you should fold it inside itself twice. This way you have 2 layers of wire. Begin by adding tons of hot glue before anything else, and this way it's going to secure the wire because you're going to be sandwiching it in between the foam and the hot glue. So fold it over and make sure the wire fits inside. Once you have that all the way down, start twisting your wire in a spiral shape, going down. I started twisting while the glue was hot. This way it's going to actually work with the foam and heat the foam up at the same time, making sure that it stays in place and keeps the shape of the actual twist of the licorice. Following these quick steps, you'll have your own cute hair tie scrunchie. In order to put it on, all you have to do is wrap it around your ponytail and then twist. So it was kind of amazing the journey that I went through to get white t-shirts into this entire outfit. I really enjoyed the challenge that I had. I've never worked with dye before and it came out a little bit splotchy. I do know where I went wrong. I let it hang dry and I didn't rinse it enough and I didn't dry it in the dryer. So that was my mistake. I also should have not reused the same dye when it got cold because that actually caused a huge chemical problem with the dyeing process. Also, using t-shirts into stockings and trying to sew it onto tights was good. The part where I started gluing things was bad. So next time I highly recommend painting on your stripes, and that way it's so much easier. If you have any tips that you want to share with me, make sure to leave it in the comments down below or about dyeing. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to click that red button down below to subscribe to my channel. And if you have, click that bell button as well. You should check out what YouTube says to watch over here in this little corner, or you should see what I recommend over here. Stay inspired, be creative, and I will see you in another video. Bye!